So if the latest reports are true, Sony has a certain thing that they're looking for if they want to keep Spidey in the MCU. And this is all going to depend on box office, so let's talk about this. So in the last couple of weeks, I've covered some of the things I've personally heard about Spider-Man. We've talked about some of the, I guess you could say, conflict between Marvel Studios and Sony and how they see some of the characters. And obviously Sony owns Spider-Man, so they don't want to give up everything Marvel Studios wants, because Marvel Studios then kind of has a stranglehold on these characters. And obviously Sony's trying to develop pretty much anything they can because they know comic books sell. This is where the conflict is going to come in. Now, the latest report is saying that Sony is very much looking to actually have Spider-Man Far From Home hit that $1 billion mark. And this is something that's very important to them because it all comes down to contract negotiations. If Far From Home doesn't hit $1 billion, according to these reports, Sony is not going to continue the relationship with Marvel Studios once the contract is up with the next appearance of Spider-Man, which would mean that they want him back, they're going to take him back, and Spidey's done in the MCU, and then Sony can do whatever they want with him, which would most likely be a reboot since they can't really use Tom Holland's version considering he's contractually obligated to only the Marvel Studios side. And this is all honestly hearsay, but it is coming from some people that are saying that they have reputable sources and it's being reported by a lot of websites. Now, while I don't know anything about this, and obviously I'm giving you guys my honest opinion, I think there's more to this than a lot of people are just shrugging off. You have to understand that Spidey is the most recognizable superhero out there. There's no reason why he's not able to pull in $1 billion, but characters like Captain Marvel, who literally nobody's heard of but the hardcore comic book fans, are the ones that are pulling it in. Or the likes of Black Panther, right? Like Spider-Man, other C-list characters and B-list characters, and why isn't Spider-Man doing it? And honestly, Sony is in it for Sony. They're not in this to make friends, to keep this deal going, and I don't know how this is going to end up playing out. It's certainly going to be years, but there is a little piece of truth in this. We just don't know exactly what it is. Certainly Marvel Studios might be happy right now, but if you look at how much they spent on Far From Home, hitting $1 billion, they're going to make the same amount of profit they did for Homecoming. You know, at some point you probably want to make a little bit more, especially if you have Spider-Man. I'm just saying. Venom is still the most profitable Spider-Man movie and doesn't have Spider-Man or Marvel Studios. So, you know, you gotta let that sink in and consider the other options.